Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we are looking at a new game today, Command Modern Operations. This is a game that is very dear to my heart because it's the sequel to Command Modern Air Naval Operations. So it's an update to that, and we're gonna have a look at all the new features. Command Modern Air Naval Operations is one of the games that I very much liked, and honestly this feels a little bit more like a minor update, with a very hefty price tag, I have to say, but nevertheless I'm very excited about this new game. So, one of the new features that we have, and that we're going to try out immediately, is the Quick Battle feature over here. So, Quick Battle allows you to set up just a small engagement here, and we're going to do a simple air-to-air engagement, because that is one thing that I've actually been asked about. So, let's start out here with a couple of Su-37s, I guess. Yeah, let's try Su-57s against the Raptor. So Raptor, the very modern American fighter, it's a stealth fighter, it's a very good aircraft, it should be said. So let's try these, and let's try 5 aircraft against 5 aircraft, I think that's fair. Let's start out maybe at 60 miles, I think that's a little bit better. And all of this should be fine, and you can immediately hit start, and that procs you into an engagement over the North Sea. And I should probably change the map settings here, just so that you understand a little bit better what's going on if you are not that familiar with NATO symbols. So let's do stylized over here, and it shows you that these are our aircraft. So let's zoom all the way in. So some of the things that you can immediately tell, it has a new graphic user interface, and that is honestly very welcome because it already was extremely dated, and just the fact that this is updated feels so much better. It's darker, it's much more modern. I still think it's not entirely like 2019. This feels to me a little bit more like maybe 2009 or so. Nevertheless, the old version was very much, it felt like Windows 93 or something. So what we can do over here is just let's group these aircraft into 2 different groups, one of 3 and one of 2 aircraft. And we're going to look at the new features in a second. So if you don't know Command at all, we have control of some of these aircrafts. They are... Wait, what did we get over here? T-50s? That feels weird. I think I didn't select that. Anyway, we've got aircraft over here, and you can see there's a vast range of data underlying. This is all data that is just for the aircraft that we are currently flying, and it has everything from the cockpit visibility to maximum climb rate, to agility, to just like the visibility of the aircraft in visual detection, in infrared, in radar bands of various different sizes. So this is very interesting with a lot of properties going into this, and everything has this sort of database behind it, including let's say the fuel consumption per hour per minute in different altitude bands. So that's how detailed this game is, and you can also see that that is the same for these weapons. These are the weapons that we're carrying, and you can see, for example, the AA-12 over here. This too has an enormous amount of data underlying it. So I very much enjoy this game. This is probably one of the best and most detailed simulators out there in the market today, and I think it's being used by some of the some real-life militaries. I know Germany is using it, I think the Americans are using it, so yeah, that's interesting. And it has an update. So let's talk about the new features that we've got. Besides the GUI, besides the Quick Battle, there is not that much new undergoing the simulation, which is honestly quite alright because it means you can play all of the past scenarios in this version as well, so it's in that sense again more of an update. The only things that I found that are actually new in terms of the simulation is you've got crew quality. So pilot quality, crew quality on ships, all of that is a new feature now, and it does impact just how well you're using weapons and all of that, which I honestly very much like. I think that's a very good new addition. So yeah, fantastic in that regard. And the other thing is that you have G-force. We can't really see that right now. Let's switch to unit view over here, and if we click on a single aircraft over here, we should potentially see the G-tolerance somewhere over here. Can't see it now. It should be somewhere over here. Oh wait. Anyway, let's go back to group view. Let's start the game here for a second, and that should hopefully give us an indication about some enemies soon. What I dislike is it has a new feature regarding the map, but it sort of always takes a moment to update, and it just doesn't feel that well to me. So, right, let's do something else. Let's grab these two aircraft. We're going to bring them south a little, and going to bring them in this direction, whereas these guys are going to fly directly over here. That should be okay. And then these two guys, we're also going to ask them to be on max altitude and on military speed, so they should be significantly faster now if we restart the game. You can see they are sort of turning towards the south, whereas these guys here are still flying that direction, which is okay. And you can see also they are climbing. So, speaking of that, one of the new features that is kind of exciting, besides the new message log, which is actually very, very welcome, is that we have got the View 3D. We've got TechView integration now. So the TechView is a separate program that you have to purchase separately, but it does allow you to get a direct 3D representation of these aircraft, and you can see they're buzzing around over here at a very high. You can see these two are already climbing, whereas these three guys up there are a little bit lower. We're going this way, and you can see one of the weaknesses. We do know it's God's eye view, so there's no fog of war, and you do know that the enemy is over there. So that is something that the game hasn't really told us yet, but you know what, it's going to be alright. So these guys are coming here this direction and I think we should have, yeah, now the game is telling us that indeed down here is potentially what it could be the enemy. Let's get this flight here a little bit further out so that we have sort of two different angles of attack against these guys. That should be okay. You and I are more or less directly going into this direction. Let's go a little bit slower, because I would like these guys here to be fanning out a little bit and be able to just put up a different direction. You can sort of see these guys are forming up a formation. One of these guys is weaving around a little bit. Not sure why he's doing that. These guys down there are just directly approaching the enemy, which is okay. And we're, I think, closing in with them. They should also be... We don't exactly know where they're going. Oh, they're also going south. Interesting. Right, and you guys are coming up like here, and that's okay. Right. One of the new features that is currently not visible, but ooh, you're very, very high up. Didn't know you could go that high, 55,000 feet. That's significant altitude. Right, okay, let's get you back to cruise speed. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the radar installations on you guys. That should give us better information about these guys. It should also indicate that these guys are soon gonna find out that we are here. And I think we should also turn on the weapons range. There we go. So they are definitively within our range. And I think what we would like to do then is, we also know that they are going this way. So let's try to see whether we can engage them with at least a single missile each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these guys and I'm going to allocate one weapon to each of them. And I think that allocates one to all of you. Yeah, and you haven't got one yet, so let's allocate one to you as well. Right, you guys are still coming up faster, but this way. That's alright. I think you can't fire yet, even though we are technically within the range. Simply more or less due to the constraints in terms of radar. These are Raptors, these are stealth aircraft, so they are very, very hard for us to manage. We can go to military speed over here, hoping to boost our missiles a little bit so that they are a little bit faster as we fire them against these incoming aircraft. There. Good, come on guys. Do launch. If you'd kindly launch, that would be brilliant. The sooner we launch them, the more ability we'll have against these guys. Come on, why are you not firing? You probably will tell me. Must obtain high quality firing, and we don't have that yet. And we should probably see that in the database over here. So this is the Raptor, very, very sleek modern aircraft. Unfortunately, a little bit killed by the F-35, which is significantly worse aircraft. So we should see that these guys here in the radar band, they have from the front about -21, -31 decibels. It's a very, very low radar signature, 0.007 square meters. Whereas our guys the T-50 here, have a radar signature of, yeah, about five times as much, I would say, especially in the A to D band. So yeah, that's why we are having a significant problem here with obtaining a very good tracking solution for these guys. We know they are there, but we just can't use them that well. But there we go, this is our first missile. So let's click on this missile and you can see here that it's sort of rising. Let's pause here for a second, just so I can show you some of these things. So if we go back to this flight, you should be able to see that over there we have been launching at least 2 missiles. They are streaming up from this position up here, and they are going sort of on very high altitude on an arc, going settling here towards these targets. You can see, yeah, it has risen significantly, gone up in the air, and it's gonna try to gain altitude and then come down on these guys. By the way, you can also see they have a very distinct different altitude on these various different aircrafts here. So that's interesting to see. I think we should soon see further launches at these guys down here when they are a little bit closer. And you guys can come up here and then come in and sort of try to strike them. There's you here. Another missile. This one going for the lower target, so you can see it's immediately going towards a different altitude plan over there. Now these guys are, let's stop here for a second and see what's happening. So these guys are now turning around to the side, and they are trying to make sure that they are not using the Doppler shift to the same extent. So when an aircraft is closing in, you have a slight Doppler shift due to the fact that the radar waves are bouncing into the aircraft and they are bouncing off from the aircraft, and just the fact that the aircraft is moving just slightly shifts the frequency, but only if it's moving towards the radar emitter or radar, yeah, towards the radar installation basically. And if you're going sideways, that doesn't happen, and that for a lot of radar installation, that is something that they use to try to track where they're going. So you can see these 2 missiles here are coming in, but they are firstly going a little bit towards the left, and you can see these aircrafts are just diving down. You can see just how sharp a turn they made when they realized missiles are coming in towards them, and they are now diving down towards the ocean in an attempt to, well, basically get rid of these missiles and just confuse them a little bit. So let's try to see what's going to happen here on the left side to see whether they will be. No, I think they very much lost track, and they are just passing harmlessly by these aircraft. And that's a big issue, of course. More missiles are coming over here towards these guys that are a little bit lower, and we're probably going to see that they have a much bigger problem as they are being targeted over here, because they will not be able to dive down in the same extent, but they're also doing this maneuver where they are going sort of sideways, and in an effort to foil the radar tracking of this missile. But this looks actually pretty good. Now we are seeing the first missile being launched by these guys up here, so let's try to make sure that we are targeting them with further weapons. And I suppose what we can do is target 2 who can actually be targeted by the archer as well. So let's make sure to target you sort of like this. Send a lot of missiles your way. If we can. Okay, so you guys are very fast, you're very high. These guys that you are targeting, I think very much below you. Yes, they are. So that's okay. Let's set you to auto speed and hope that you will be able to engage these guys. We should also make sure that we are still flying ahead so that we keep a good target lock on these guys, because these missiles are still geared by our aircrafts. Yeah, and you can see they are going down there. So let's restart and see what's going to happen here with their missile that they launched from down there, and how it's impacting us, hopefully not too badly. So they're being targeted as well, which means they probably are going to turn away. On the other hand, they have launched their missile, so that is a big problem. On the other hand, down here, this looks pretty promising actually to me. It looks like we have a good target track there, so that's nice. Up over here, I'm just pausing here a lot. You don't really have to pause that much, but just to just to be able to see what's going on. But our aircrafts are turning away. On the other hand, down here, this is looking good. This is not looking good. Ah, good hit down there. This missile did miss us. This one is also flying past us. And that's because we are engaging these guys down there and making sure that they are... Okay, can you fly this way? Right. Let's pause here for a second. Let's look at this missile. It is coming at a very nice track towards them. I don't know whether it's going to be enough. Over here you can see these guys. They lost one of their aircrafts and they're extremely low. Just above the ocean really. Just flying at a very, very minimal altitude. But they did lose one of their aircrafts in their flight. So that's nice to see. Can I engage you here? Potentially at least. Let's try to allocate a couple of weapons on these guys as we come down there. You're probably going to engage and that's going to be nice. And you here should also turn on your sensors. Let's turn on the radar here and start to engage these two aircrafts here. And I think we're going to send 2 missiles after each of you. And maybe that's going to work out nicely for us. Right. Another missile being launched up here, and one down there. There was a hit up here. Not sure who that was, or was it down here? So there are 2 Raptors here. Oh, I think one of you here has been hit. Probably you. Yeah, you have been hit. We can see the explosion there. You are not going down yet, but you might be very soon, and that would be rather nice. And there is another missile being launched from down here, from one of these Raptors, which is rising towards our aircraft. But we are sending the missiles their way, so I'm not extremely concerned. Let's have a look here. This guy is also launching another missile. Lots of missiles being launched at us right now, including from over here. They're also starting to... Just look at how many missiles they are sending our way. So they at least have 4 missiles in the air against us. So we'll have to see about that. Okay, let's get you to military speed. And let's ask you here actually to lay chaff. I don't know whether you can actually do that, but let's try to do so anyway. Yeah, and you can see just how our aircraft are now dancing around and dashing towards the ocean in a mad effort to confuse their missiles. And just look at the ballad of movements over there. That's interesting. Yeah, we are in big trouble here with all of these missiles coming in from different directions. Yeah, all of them down there mostly. They are on a very good target lock. See this missile as it comes towards us. This one I think might be going off balance, which is because we have forced these guys to turn away. But these guys here have very good target lock on us, so I think what we actually should do is try to engage them over there with everything basically that we've got. Unfortunately, we don't have that much. Is this still 2 aircraft? I think one of them might have been lost. So this is only 1 aircraft that is currently flying over here. And you can see one of the other ones is just going wildly, of course, because it doesn't have anyone steering it anymore. Still, we should really make sure that we are engaging over here. You're going very fast, that's okay. Let's try to get you towards high altitude. Let's close and resume over here. So there we go, one of our aircraft lost. Pity really bad. There's still a lot more missiles coming in and we are in big danger over here with this gentleman. Still being targeted by at least a couple of missiles and he's now extremely low over the ocean, so there's not much he can do. Let's make sure that we are trying to attack these guys here with everything that this guy has, which is not much. It's only a single missile that is left. So what we're going to do is we are going to ask you to directly engage this gentleman. And then this flight over here, you do need to target these gentlemen there. Let's make sure that we are firing at these guys. At least a single missile each. To hope and just try to distract them. Yeah, we are sending missiles that way, so that's nice to see. Another missile hit over here, even though this guy still isn't going down. They're sending missiles against us here. That's okay. No, this guy has now gone down. That's okay. Let's try to attack this one over there. These missiles are now trying to attempt a target lock there. That's okay. You need to go military speed. You should also try to get very high, I think. Well, maybe. Okay, this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. Yeah, it has targeted us. And this guy is now going down. Definitively going down. No chance. No other way. Okay, you need to come up here and make sure that you are tracking these guys down there. Lovely. Okay, look at all of these missiles coming in against the enemy there. 3 missiles against the first aircraft. A single missile against the second aircraft. But apparently there are some misses. Oh, come on, a single hit would have been nice. Okay, this guy here is still going alright, surprisingly. Okay, make sure that we are tracking these guys down there. And let's go maybe a little bit lower. And actually on cruise speed, so that we're not overshooting them. Are you... pause. Are you capable of hitting this guy? With anything? Difference in altitude is larger than it can be. Shouldn't take too long though. I think you are going low anyway, so... Oh, but we only have the AA-11? And he's now shooting at us. At this guy though, which is good for us. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, why are you not launching? Okay, what's the limit that you have? 20,000 feet. Okay, so you need to go very low. We're going to end up dogfighting here. And this guy here is done. Yes. So it's now 2 versus 2. We had an early advantage, but we are... I think we have blundered that a little bit. Let's try to get on these guys. There we go. First missile launch. That is very nice to see. There's the AA-11 going straight down. And soon we are going to see the second one being launched, hopefully. Hopefully this one is going to hit. That would be very, very good for us. But they also are sending missiles our way. And that certainly is not good. Ah. Okay, mutual kill by these aircraft. So it's now 1 versus 1. It's only a single aircraft left on our side. Well, it's not really 1 against 1. This guy is still around. Nevertheless, let's try to make sure that you are attacking this one over there, if you can at all. Because I think this one might ultimately be going down anyway. Okay, you are sending a missile that way. Good, good. No, this one has missed. Nope, it has not. Good. And now you're coming around. Wait. Good, good stuff. Now try to get this guy. Okay, stop. What's going on? Okay, you are trying to gain altitude here, aren't you? And you? Okay, he might be in a slightly better position. I thought we would have him since he did not... Okay, set auto. Just try to engage this guy with your gun. And you need to be much faster. Damn it. He's up our rear. There we go. It is... They have won. They have got a very, very nice aircraft. The F-22 is an extremely good aircraft, but it was a close fight, I would say. And even this guy is damaged, so we did lose here, definitely. But still, I still think it was a very nice fight and a very nice showcase, especially with the 3D view. So that's nice to see. So all in all, the game mostly really an update, I would say. Mostly in terms of visuals, 3D. It's nice to see. A little bit in the underlying mechanics, G-force, and excuse me, and pilot training. So that's nice to see. All in all, though, I think a nice upgrade, and to me it's worth it because we are seeing an upgrade or an update to a niche game, and I like the game very, very much. So that's very lovely to see that this is coming and being continued. I like it. Whether or not it's worth your money, you'll have to see. I'm gonna start a little actual Let's Play, maybe with a scenario around Iran, US versus Iran. I did, of course, play quite a bit on the Baltic countries in a war against Russia in the previous version of the game. Let's try a little Iran game next time, and I do hope to see you around then. Do leave a like, subscribe, and all of that if you want, and see you around next time. Bye bye!